Hello, my wonderful counselors in training. This is Dr. Allen, and I wanted to take a few minutes just to walk through the TAF form with you. Gosh, you guys did so great on your first time interviewing someone and assessing for suicide. I know that can be intimidating, but I was really impressed with just your counseling skill sets, your ability to be present, your ability to show unconditional positive regard for someone that is sitting across from you, sharing some pretty hurtful things going on in their lives. And so bravo for that. But the assessment form seemed to be a little confusing, and since the textbook didn't offer a clear enough explanation for you, I just wanted to take a few minutes to look at that right now. Okay, so when we look at the assessment form, and I'm just going to hold it up right here in front of the camera, page 1 is basically the person's information at the top, what's going on, and then you're going to have your observation checklist, the things that you're noticing as you're talking to the client and as they're telling you their stories. Then you're going to get over here to the severity scales, and this is where you begin to really zoom in and assess the severity of their mindset. Because this is going to make a lot of difference. This is going to determine whether or not you take immediate action, you're picking up the phone, you're calling the hospital, you're having them admitted, or you feel comfortable with them leaving and you guys having a treatment plan, a follow-up plan in place. And so each of these columns, they basically have the same information going across. They're just at different levels of severity. So you always want to start at column 10, with the 10 points, the most severe, and you look and say, okay, well, is this what's going on with the client? Well, maybe it's not quite that bad. Okay, well, does this look more like it in column 8 to 9? And as you begin to identify, yes, this is about the level where they're at, and you start checking things off, when the columns have either a 2 or a 3, a 4 or a 5, a 6 or a 7, 8 or a 9, the way that you differentiate between which number to give them is if you only check one thing off in the column. You would give them the lower number. If you check more than 2 things off in the column, then you would give them the higher number. So if we were assessing a client and, we're looking at, oh, you know what, she's starting to fall in this moderate impairment column, and I see that her feelings are primarily negative and exaggerated, are increasingly diminished, I might check that. Emotions, not under control, but remain focused on crisis, so I might go ahead and check that too. Well, since I checked 2, I'm going to give her the 7. Well, you guys, after I've already found her in one column, I don't keep moving across the columns. I stop. That's where she is. That's the number she gets. Then I go down to the next section, the behaviors, and I do the exact same thing. I start way over here at the most severe, and then I look to see, what these descriptors are saying, and well, yeah, you know what? In the behaviors, maybe I see her as can perform tasks needed for daily functioning with minimal effort. Behavior demonstrates frustration but non-threatening. So if I check those 2, I'm going to go ahead and give her that 3. But that's the only column I'm going to check. I'm only going to use one column out of each of these sections. Then you go on and you do it for the same thing for the cognitive. Then as you're getting down here with your comments, you guys really did great with your comments, why you were selecting, some of the things that you were selecting. And so you'll do that. And then you'll identify if mainly it's anger or hostility going on, if it's mainly anxiety, fear, sadness, or melancholy. Now, if there's more than one that you're realizing that the client is experiencing, then you would start to prioritize, which one's first, which one's second, which one's, third or tertiary. And so you would just simply number those. And then lastly, when you get to this page is basically just kind of a summation of the columns. So if in the affective area we had given our client a number, I can't remember now what I said, I think we said a number 9, then we would circle the 9 here. In the behavioral, I think we gave her a 3, so we would circle the number 3 here. In the cognitive, whatever the number was, that's where we would circle there. And then we would just give the total initial score. Now, the difference between the initial score and the terminal score is when we're initially meeting with that client, we're kind of doing this assessment. This is where they're at. When they come in, wow, maybe they're, and I'm just making up a number, maybe they're a 15 coming in. But after we've spent an hour or so with them and they've really started to calm down, maybe we might walk through that same process again. And if we do, then that would be the terminal score, that the after we've done something score. And so, maybe our conversation with them counts as we've done something, and we could assess that again. For your videos, you guys didn't, you didn't do that. You just walked through the assessment one time, which was fine. That's all the exercise called for. But if after meeting with the client at the end of the session, you wanted to walk through again and reassess, then that's where you would put the second score just to kind of compare to see where the client was at in that moment. A transgression is something that's going on. A threat is something that feels like could happen. And a loss is something that's already happened. And so when you're assessing, is it currently going on? Are they afraid that it might happen, or it's looming in their future? Or if it is now a part of their past because it's already happened, then that's what these three categories are about. So again, I just wanted to give you that, kind of walk through that, and I hope that clarifies it a little bit. It really is a subjective assessment because how you perceive that client in that moment might look a little different, than what another counselor might see them, but that's okay. You're the one assessing that client. And so we always start at the most severe, because if we're going to err, we'd rather err on the side of caution and assess them, as, okay, I'm going to, use a little extra caution and concern here. So I'm going to assume you're at the high level, and then I'm going to work my way down. But again, each area, affective, behavioral, cognitive, you'll only check one column. And if you check more than one item in that column, you'll give the client the higher score. And then on the last sheet, this is just basically a totaling of what your column was in each area. So you're not kind of now going and making up something here. You're just bringing that information forward and putting it on here for this summary sheet for you to look at. We will have a Zoom meeting next Thursday, so I'll be happy to go through this with you some more at that time if you need me to. If you still have questions and you want to email me, you can email me. If you need a phone call or a face-to-face with me, let me know and we can schedule that as well. But be encouraged, you guys. I am for you, and this is a training class. You are in the process of becoming, so that's what practice is all about. I don't expect anybody to be perfect. I just like to see you guys putting forth your best effort, and that's what I feel like this class is doing. So well done.